Welcome back. We're still plugging away at Rotten Tomatoes' top 200 horror movies of all time, and coming in today at number 187 from 2021 is Candyman. Now, Candyman currently has a critical consensus of 84% on Rotten Tomatoes. However, it only has 72% from the audience. And it only has 5.9 out of 10 on IMDb. And now the synopsis to Candyman goes as follows. For decades, the housing projects of Chicago's Cabrini Green were terrorized by a ghost story about a supernatural, hook-handed killer. In present day, an artist begins to explore the macabre history of Candyman, not knowing it would unravel his sanity and unleash a terrifying wave of violence that puts him on a collision course with destiny. Now, as per my rules, I did watch every prior installment of Candyman before watching this one. And as always, I recommend that you watch this movie before watching this review because yes, there are spoilers ahead. And as always, I'm not going to talk about the movie at great length. I'm just going to talk about the things I like and the things I dislike, my pros and qualms. So first off, my pros for this movie.
I'm the Candyman. Who can make the sun rise?
This beginning with the flip credits actually got me. I didn't know if I was getting a crappy pirated version of this movie or something. Also, mirror shadowing. Now, I've seen some of the negative reviews kind of hating on this movie because it's gone woke or something, but have you not seen the original? No.
She just snaps. She beheaded.
I really like the homage to the original soundtrack in this scene. Nice. I know it's like blatantly there, but I do like that you can kind of see him in the mirror, and if you're not paying attention, you might not notice him right away. Nice.
I heard a story about a fire. Killed a woman named Helen Lyle. A baby that was taken.
When you first got taken, I thought she was the one who did it.
I like how this is tied together to the original in a way, so it's sort of a sequel, I guess. Also, can we talk about how Vanessa Williams is in her late 50s in this? Like, what?
Or she's an accomplice. She held the victims down, he cut them up, he died, coming at a cop. She goes to jail for the rest of her life.
Who are you?
I am the writing on the walls. I am the sweet smell of blood.
I like as he's walking around the cruiser, you get every iteration of Candyman in the reflection. I like that they did something with the credits. Rather than it just being credits, they used it for storytelling. And now on to my qualms with this movie.
Do not start with that.
Sure, but it was a project. It's affordable house.
I hate toques being used as fashion. Like, they're hot. They make you warm. They're not just to wear casually.
Right in the middle. Cabrini Green. Is my rosé still in the freezer? Baby green.
Alright, thanks for coming for supper and telling a spooky ghost story. Now get the out of here.
Well,
This is Anthony McCoy of 2 years ago. I want the Anthony McCoy of the future.
Artist is struggling or behind or not himself trope.
Sherman Fields. He had a hook for a hand. Neighborhood character used to stand out there and hand out sweets to us when I was a kid. One October, a razor blade shows up in...
There's always that one character that knows the villain's entire backstory and can relay it to the audience.
becomes the Candyman.
The Batman.
Not spontaneous. Yeah, you had that one in the bank.
Yeah, I did, bitch.
This is very poor drunk acting. I don't see how other people are getting killed when they don't say it. My dude, you need to get that checked out.
Opening. The bodies were discovered in front of a piece from rising star Anthony McCoy entitled Say My Name. Law enforcement officers say
there's absolutely no way the news would drop that they were found in front of this art piece like that.
He was for you. He chose you to be one of his victims.
So let me get this straight. The Candyman mythos is kind of passed on through different incarnations of black people that have been wronged. So why did Anthony get Daniel Robitaille's version when he was a kid? That couldn't have been more than 30 years ago. But yet there's supposed to be all these different iterations. Once it's passed on, isn't that it for the prior iteration? Because this entire movie seems to be the Sherman Fields iteration of Candyman. But yet Daniel Robitaille was just 30 years prior, even though there's a lot of Candyman in between those two iterations? Also, what are the rules for saying Candyman? Because yes, if you say it 5 times in a mirror, he appears and he kills you, but what's the time constraint on that? Like, what if I'm having general conversation with somebody in a room full of mirrors and I happen to say Candyman here and there 5 times over the course of a few hours? Or hell, let's say I say it once in the mirror today and then once again in a year's time, and it takes me 20 years to say Candyman 5 times in a mirror. Does it expire? Does it have a time limit?
They tore down our home so they could move back in. We need Candyman.
Great, the knowledgeable guy is actually a bad guy because he wants to experience whatever this evil is or see it for himself trope.
I think he's dead.
Some of the scenes in this kind of give me the vibe that Candyman was actually shooting for a PG-13 rating. But yet there's some other scenes that are actually quite graphic, so it seems that Candyman doesn't super know where it wants to sit rating-wise. How can all these guys see Candyman when before you could only see him in the mirror? So, overall, Candyman. I thought the acting was pretty decent, and it was honestly a perfect runtime coming in an hour and a half, which is what I always say a horror movie should be. However, I have too many questions on the mythos of it, like how long is the span between Candymans until it's negated? Why are other people dying in the vicinity when they didn't even summon him? And how does the passing of the torch work? Because there seems to be many iterations of Candyman within just the last 30 years, especially if they're just replacing it outright. So unfortunately for all those reasons, as much as I enjoyed it, I have to put Candyman on the okay tier of my movie list. Now, do you agree? Do you disagree? Did I miss anything? Let me know down below. And as always, this is just my opinion, so thanks for watching.